All right. If anyone's watching on YouTube, let me know if that's weird or if you can see it properly, please. What am I doing? Share screen. Record.
Recording in progress.
Hey, Music Life. If you're watching on YouTube, can you see the share screen properly, or is it like picture-in-picture weird stuff? Sweet. All right, guys, I'm going to start in just a few seconds. Where are we? Start. Sweet. All right. I think we're good to go. Sweet. Actually, it's not working properly. No. All right, fine. I'll stop sharing. Sorry, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, you're not going to be able to see my screen. But if you're watching on Discord, it should work fine on Discord Live, I believe. All right. So we're on Insta Live. Oh, shit. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, cool. So we're on Insta Live, we're on YouTube, we are on Discord as well. So I'm going to get straight into it, guys. If you don't know me already, it's Nakul from Wicky. Wicky obviously does all things sport, but this time we're here to talk about NRL. So I promise not too much boring stuff. Everyone wants tips. So I'm going to get straight into that. But if you can see what I am seeing on my screen, though, it is just the Wiki link tree. So it's got links to our socials. It's got links to all of our data tools, our Discord, our content, everything. So just Google Wiki link tree. You find it all there for free. If you don't follow rugby league that much, or you just tuned off for the summer, this weekend it's preseason, the final week of preseason. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we're off to Vegas. We've got 2 NRL games, round 1 in Vegas. But for this weekend, most NRL teams have pretty much named a full strength side. So what is it, Thursday? Tomorrow night, we've got, there's 2 games on tomorrow night, 4 on Saturday, or maybe even fucking 5, and then a couple on Sunday. So heaps of rugby league action. First things first, because I think most of you guys are in here for your tips, I'm going to get straight into the odds comparison tool, share my screen, and start talking through a few good try scorer plays for every game. Most people seem to be on here for the tips or the picks for try scorers from each game. So I'm going to go through that first. Very quickly go through some interesting team selections from every game after that. Then I'm going to get into some fantasy and supercoach stuff. I absolutely love fantasy and supercoach, but I know that most of our community is mainly here for the tips and the punting stuff. So I'm going to do fantasy and supercoach a little bit later. But before I get into it, one last time, please Google Wiki Linktree, all of our socials, content, Discord, everything's there free. I'm going to get straight into it. Cool. So first up, we've got the first game on Friday. Rabbitohs v Roosters. It sounds awesome, but it's preseason, and all the first grade players are off to Vegas. So it's a bunch of guys. Honestly, we don't know too much about. I'm having a look here. Some of the highest odds that I'm seeing is honestly a bunch of randoms. But yeah, if you can't see what I'm seeing on my screen, odds comparison tool, flick through the Rabbitohs Roosters game. It's a 6 p.m. game. Honestly, you're probably not going to want to have a punt on this because you probably don't know many of the players. I'm having a really quick look, and I can only see a couple of guys like Braden Burns. If you guys remember a guy called Yailene Gordon, he played for the Dogs like 15 years ago. He's somehow still playing fucking New South Wales Cup. So he's still there. But yeah, honestly, I'm not going to waste my time talking about this because I don't know most of these guys, and there's not that much value there. So let's move on to the next game, the 8 p.m. game. So if you haven't seen the news, guys, Nico Hines, quad strain. He's not going to be playing the trial against the Doggies tomorrow. So he's out of that game. So I'm going to go through a couple of try scorer picks for this game. Just before I do that, I feel like a couple of guys have tagged me, and I'll probably stuff something. Oh, your screen share is not visible on Discord. Oi, nice. Good pickup. Good save. My bad. I have not done that. I'll do that now. Sorry, guys. 1 second. All right, cool. So if you're watching on Instagram, I'm going to talk through this. Discord, finally, I've got my screen share working. Sorry, guys. Lucky save. Good that I stopped for a second before going ahead. All right, cool. At least I got it in time. All right, so first proper rugby league preseason game. Let's go. Sharks v Bulldogs, first try scorer. Let's get to the fun stuff. As you can see, guys, I probably don't even need to go through the NRL.com team list because you can see the teams right here. So pretty much you can see the Sharks here. This is when Nico Hines was still meant to play. He's ruled out. Remember, quad strain. Hines isn't playing. His first NRL or first game for the season is going to be in a couple of weeks' time for the Sharks. But preseason, he's out. Just remember that if you are going to be having a punt on this game. Looking at the teams, guys, it's actually pretty interesting. So I'm looking at first try scorer odds. Highest odds, there's a couple of dogs forwards that are super high odds. I'm going to try to pick just one high odds play. Obviously, in the season, you guys might make a lot more picks, but it's preseason. I don't want to go too much into the detail. People are probably going to get bored, so I'm going to rush through a little bit. Out of the big odds, sort of middle forwards, I think the one that sticks out is Royce Hunt. Royce Hunt is paying 67 to 1 on Neds. He's he is $51 or less on the odds comparison tool on 5 other bookies, but on Neds he's 67 to 1. He looks good. I like him to score the first try. I think we had, someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but we had like 5 or 6 of the 8 games last weekend where a middle forward scored the first try. One of the others was by a hooker, exactly where like a middle forward would score. It was absolutely ridiculous. And if you missed it, Xavier Willison, finally I fucking tipped one. Last try score at 67 to 1. So I only tipped one of them, 67 to 1 shot, which is great fun. But a bunch of the guys on the community, if you, again, Google Wicky Linktree, join our free Discord. Bunch of guys in the community had a lot more free time than me last weekend. Kept tipping middle forwards to score tries, and they kept getting up first try scorer. Hectic weekend last weekend. Let's hope it continues. So for this game, guys, Sharks v Doggies, my official, bigger odds try scorer pick is going to be Royce Hunt at 67 to 1. Aside from that, having a quick look, if you like Bronson Jerry, I don't even know how to say his name, but he did look pretty good last week. He scored a try. I know it was like reserve grade. It was like awkward teams and stuff, but he's paying 26 to 1 on Bet365, and he's paying $17 on every other bookie. So if you are going to hit first try scorers, this is the kind of stuff that we try to do at Wiki. We try to find prices that are basically just wrong. So you can get on Bronson Cherry, first try score at 26 to 1. They're probably my 2 main picks. Royce Hunt, 67 to 1 Neds, Bronson Cherry, 26 to 1 on 365. If you came here for, someone who's prepared and going to talk you through detail of every game, that ain't me. Not for preseason. What I'm trying to do is I'm having my first look really at this odds comparison tool while I'm doing this. And a couple of the picks that stick out for every game, I'll detail them here. Obviously, find something better, or you find something else that you like, chuck it out on the comments or on Discord or whatever. Sweet. So that's the second Friday game, guys. I'm going to go through it game by game. So next up, we've got Storm v Knights. All right, let me just zoom in. I'll see if I've stuffed anything up. Give me 1 second. What else? Are we live? Your camera is off on Discord. Oh, for fuck's sake. Give me a sec, guys. Sorry. There we go. All right. Hopefully that works, and hopefully I have done this the right way. All right, give me a second. Sweet. All right, cool. Okay, back to it. So first game on Saturday, Storm v the Knights. Looking at the teams here, we've got Ryan Pappenhausen. He scored a try and set one up last week, so he's been looking good. He's back he's back again this weekend in the Storm's final trial. So both teams are pretty close to full strength. KP's playing. Kalen Ponga didn't play last week at all. I think this game's in Fiji, I heard as well, or was it PNG? One of the two. But Kalen Ponga is playing. Almost all the stars from both teams are playing. The only star that's missing is Cam Munster. So you see Jonah Pezzett in here, and that's about it. Jaden Brayley's not back. I think he's got another injury, so Phoenix Crossland is still playing a hooker. In terms of try scorer picks, guys, Storm v Knights. I'm having a quick look here. Couple of bookies. I've got a pick here. Grant's paying 34 to 1, first try scorer. Jacob Safidi, 67 to 1. All right. I'll go Jacob Safidi, 67 to 1 as my long odds pick for this game. Oh, this is tough. Yeah. I'll stick with Jacob Safidi. I think he got up once first last year. I absolutely love that dude. In terms of anytime try scorers, I don't think, honestly, anyone stands out massively. There you go. If you like Ryan Pappenhausen, he's paying $275 on Bet365 to score a try anytime, and he's he's paying about $2.30 or less on every other bookie. So if you do like Pappenhausen, the only risk, guys, with trials is players might be playing like 40 or 60 minutes instead of the whole 80 because it is still a trial. It's also in Fiji or fucking PNG. I have no idea what the weather is. So anyways, it's still a good price compared to all the other bookies, but just have a bit of a think around whether you think he'll play the whole game or not. But that's probably it, guys, for the Storm v Knights. Nothing else really to note here, try scorer wise. Let's move on to the next game, guys. Warriors v Dolphins. So we go first try scorer. Look at some of the higher odds. Now this is where it gets fun. So we got Jesse Bromwich paying 91s, Flegler, Barnett. You know what? I'm not going to think too hard. I'm going to go Mitch Barnett. He's paying 67-1 on Neds. Mitch Barnett used to be the left edge back rower from the Knights. He's played a little bit of edge, a little bit of middle, but I think the Warriors are noticeably stronger side or favorites with the bookies. And I really like that 67-1. He's as low as 34-1 on other bookies, guys. So I really like Mitch Barnett, 67-1 on Neds. In terms of anytime try scorer, I'm having a bit of a look. If anyone stands out, Hamiso, the Hammer, $2.87 on Bet365. Him or Jack Bostock, the left winger, I think he is. I think he scored a try last week as well. So I think either of those guys at $2.87 on Bet365 look decent value. Other bookies have them sort of around $2.50. Okay, fine. One of the bookies has them at $2.75. But anyways, if you like the Dolphins in this one, I have no idea where this is being played. I might actually have a quick look real quick where the hell this game's being played. Go Media Stadium. I'm pretty sure that's somewhere in New Zealand. But anyways, couple of, like, as you guys know, I'm not great with wanting to pick backs. It's not my specialty. But the Hammer and Jack Bostock, they look pretty good there. And I think Bostock scored last weekend, and the Hammer he's fucking insane. You can never go against the Hammer. All right, guys. Next up, we got Manly versus the Broncos. If you've got any comments and stuff, guys, maybe after this game, I'll quickly go and check if anyone sent anything through. I'll just have a quick look at the YouTube live stream. Voice of an Angel. Jesus Christ. I've never heard that before, and I don't want to hear it again, but I appreciate it anyway. 1 million Nakuls. I've heard that before, unfortunately. Jokes about my size. I've had to grow up with that. All right. First try scorer, Manly v the Broncos. Again, guys, this is a game where both these teams are off to Vegas. It's reserve grade or lower. A bunch of guys that we probably don't know. Shout out to one of the guys on our Discord. I'm really sorry. I forgot his name. I think it might have been Timmy on our Discord. But one of the guys on our Discord, he tipped us off to something really cool, actually. So Bailey Butler, he's a middle forward that's playing for Brisbane. He must be some sort of like junior or reserve grader. He's got absolutely insane try scoring stats. So shout out to, I think, Timmy from our Discord. Thank you for putting that information out there. And Takura, he's that fucking 6'9" or whatever, like absolute freak from the Broncos as well. They're the two guys that stick out because they're paying 81s to score the first try on Neds. Honestly, either of them have a flutter on that because that is a good price, especially Bailey Butler. So I looked up his QRL profile, Queensland Rugby League. You guys are going to get bored if I go any further. Basically, he's a freak show try scorer. Bailey Butler from the Brisbane Broncos Junior. I think he's got like 10 tries in 30 reserve grade games or something ridiculous like that. So I really like him at that price. As long as he starts, that is an incredible price. Going across to anytime try scorer real quick. I have no idea who this dude is. I've heard of his name. If you guys know, maybe please let me know. But Ethan Kwai Ward, I've heard of his name quite a bit. He's paying $3.60 on Sportsbet, and he's paying $3.25 or about $3 on other sites. He might be a good one. Aside from that, I'm just trying to look at other standout sort of prices. I might even have a play on Bailey Butler anytime try scorer. You guys know I don't like doing that for middle forwards, but it's a reserve grade game. It's not like he's going to get rested after 20 or 25 minutes. And Bailey Butler's anytime try score is 14. That is insane considering he scores every 3 games or maybe 3.5 games or whatever it is in reserve grade. I'm going to have a crack at that for sure. Won't go too much deeper into this game, guys. I really don't know many of these players. Shout out again to the bloke on Discord who tipped us off. I think it was Timmy. Thank you for that Bailey Butler stuff. If this comes up, you best believe I'll be making a video about this next week. All right. Dragons v the Tigers. I'm keen to hear what you guys reckon. Like, a lot of people are talking shit about the Dragons, and like fair enough as well. And the Tigers have won 2 spoons in a row. But this game, to me at least, is going to be really fun because for fantasy reasons and SuperCoach and stuff, you get to see how a lot of these players are going and who's going to win the spot and all that kind of shit. But I think also like new season, new optimism. No one thinks that these teams are going to make the 8. But I think with the Tigers, you got Jerome Luai going there next year. They've got hope at least in their roster. Whereas Dragons, they've got a new coach. Shane Flanagan's there. They've got hope because of that. I wouldn't really say too much about their on-field players. But anyway, it should be an interesting game to watch. I think this is Saturday night at 8 p.m. It's the last Saturday game. So very quickly, guys, looking at the first try scorer odds for Dragons and Tigers. Clemmer, Molo, Laurie, Stefano Utsikamano, one of my favorite middles for try scorers. If you followed Wicky stuff last year, you know I love Big Stefano, one of the best middle forward try scorers of the NRL. I forgot if he was busted, like he kept playing on and off from injury or whatever. He didn't look as threatening last year. I think, we definitely won on him first try scorer at about 61 or 67 to 1 last season. That popped off on a Saturday night. I remember that was fucking amazing. So he's paying 67 to 1 on Ned's first try scorer. If you haven't already had a quick look, I'd be getting on that. That is my tip of the game, actually, in terms of big odd stuff. Stefano Tucumano, 67 to 1 on Ned's. Dragons, Tigers, Saturday night, 8 p.m. So absolutely love that. In terms of anytime try scorer, guys, just having a look. I think massively stands out, to be honest. Tyrell Sloan is paying $3, $3.05 on Sportsbet to score a try anytime, which he's paying about $2.60 to $2.87 on most bookies. $3.05 on Sportsbet. It seems like the Tyrell Sloan thing to do, to just have a massive game in preseason, and he's a try scorer. So maybe that as an anytime try scorer pick. I don't absolutely love it, to be honest, but that's probably the one that I had to pick out if I had to. Cool. Just very quickly in terms of these teams, though, the backs they're like almost unrecognizable. You got Justin Olam on the left there. He's come over from the Storm. For the Dragons, you've got Jack Bird in the centers now. You got Zach Lomax on I think it's the left wing. So if you're a recreational punter on rugby league and you're putting multis and anytime try scorers, etc., just be careful. I told you guys 10 times last week that they may not play the whole game. So anytime try scorer bets generally are a bit of a risk. B, if you're multi betting or same game multis or whatever, that's even worse because you don't know how many minutes these guys are going to play. There were extended squads last week, and holy shit, it's the same again this week. I totally forgot to mention that before. Basically, be careful, please. Like you can see, if you're looking at my screen here, there's like 25-man squads. So you might absolutely love some fucking winger at $2 who should be $1.09, and you're like, oh yeah, I love the value. I'm going to get on this bloke with some other bloke for a multi or whatever. But just please look at these fucking squads. Like barely anyone is going to be playing 80 minutes. So please be wary of that. Obviously, always, gamble responsibly, especially with fucking multi-bets on wingers and shit like that. But especially fucking preseason, be careful. And that's why I love first try scorers, because at least when you know who the fuck is on the field to start the game, you can have a punt on first try scorer, follow it for the first 10, 15 minutes, have a bit of fun with it, and then who gives a shit if they don't play the rest of the game. But anyways. Cool. All right. So that is all things Dragons, Tigers, guys. Coming across, there's only 2 games on the Sunday. So first things first, Titans v Para. Again, I'm looking at this. Well, let's have a quick look. I'm having a quick look at this, and they look like they're pretty much full strength. So Keanu Keeney, so Jaden Campbell, if you're a fantasy and SuperCoach player, you've probably seen a lot of the chat around him, and unfortunately, Jaden Campbell's out for a few weeks, and so is David Fafita. So Keanu Keeney starts at fullback. You can see there's a lot less bookies on the odds comparison tool for this one. It's because it's a few days away, guys, and not all the bookies have markets up for this. Anyways, we'll figure that out. We'll fix that later. But going into this one for first try score, I'm going to go by highest odds, as I always do. Oh, Big Tino. Big Tino is paying 51 to 1 first try scorer. Probably have him as my play for this game. I'm just trying to quickly look if anyone else really stands out. Yep, I'll go Big Tino. So Tino, guys, I'll have a look at the numbers again, but he's one of the best middle forward try scorers in the NRL. I know a lot of you like betting on wingers and stuff, but Tino Fasu Fasu Malawi. I'm really sorry if I got that wrong, but he's absolute beast of a try scorer. You also know that he's probably not going to play he's probably not going to play 60 minutes. He probably gets like a 20-minute stint, or what we hope is he plays like 25, 30 minutes straight up. He's on around the time of the first try, and then bang, they rest him for the rest of the game. He's experienced enough now. He's the captain. He doesn't need to fucking come on for a second stint because, as I was just saying, bang, 25, 27-man squad. Do you really think Tino is going to play the whole game? Again, be careful of anytime try scorer plays. In terms of anytime try scorer, having a quick look, guys, if anyone stands out. Yeah, Sean Russell. I don't know what this kept popping up last season, guys. Bet365 just absolutely hate Sean Russell. The Eels winger, I think, Sivo's left for the Eels, so Sean Russell is going to be the right winger. He's always value on Bet365. I just said be wary of wingers, and they might not play the whole game and all the rest of it. But it might be if you have to bet on anytime try scorers, Sean Russell's probably your man. Crazy value, actually. $2.40 on Bet365, a lot less on every other bookie. I think I forgot to say, where Tino is good odds. He's $51 on Bet365. Insane odds. He's got a scary track record of scoring the last try. I think Nathan Cleary and Tino have both scored the last try, roughly one in every 10 games that they've played, which is fucking ridiculous for a middle forward. But anyways, all right. Last game of the preseason, guys. In terms of my tips, this is pretty much going to wrap it up. So after this game, if you're only here for tips and that's all you give a shit about, please, again, Google Wicky Linktree. I'm going to do a lot more of this stuff. Tomorrow, I'm going to have my little studio set up. I'll have a TV. I'll have a couple of phones for like Insta, TikTok Live, all the rest of it. We'll have YouTube Live, Discord Live, whatever the fuck I can put together, I will do. And I'll probably be doing a couple of these every week. So Google Wicky Linktree, join our community, check out the odds comparison tool that you can see. All of our tips, content, data tools, all that shit, all free. So check that out. Cool. Tips for the last game, guys. First try scorer, Raiders and Cowboys. Let's have a look. Oh, Big Papa. Why you got to do this to me? So Josh Papali, $67, first try scorer on Bet365. My main man, Big Papa. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a storyline this year. So, like when I first got into rugby league, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I used to watch watch Origin and stuff, but I didn't understand like backlines and tactics and all that shit, right? So it was always for me about trying to find different options. One of the first guys that I really liked was Andrew Fafita. And if you guys remember Ryan James, those guys used to score a lot of tries to the middle of the field, right? And big Josh Papa, when he moved into the middle of the field, I was like, fuck yeah, I love this dude. He's gone on to be one of the best all-time middle forward try scorers in the NRL, but he's also getting old. He looks 45, but he's actually only like 32. But we saw last year, he's not as dynamic, doesn't score as many tries, but fuck it. This is a hill that I'm willing to die on. He's paying 67-1, first try scorer on Bet365. Big Josh Papa in the last game of the round, guys. I'm going to be backing that in. That'll be my higher odds tip for that game. Quick look at the anytime try scorers, guys. Market value wise, Josh Papa's 850. Again, don't like middle forwards for anytime try scorers just because the big squads and the risk, especially at his age, he may not get that second stint. Aside from that, let me have a quick look. Again, as I told you, zero prep. If you're here for prep, you're on the wrong video, Insta Live, whatever you're on. What I'm doing is looking at the prices straight away, seeing what stands out to me. Honestly, I don't like tipping just for the sake of tipping. I don't love any of the prices on here. Ooh. Oh, maybe. Okay, fine. The closest I'm going to get to an anytime try scorer play for this game is Jeremiah Nanai. He's paying $3.25 on Bet365. He was electric. Gun try scorer a couple of years ago. Last year, not so great. Always coming back from injury, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Don't love anytime try scorer in this game, guys, because I am worried, again, with nothing to play for. You can see the extended squads. There's like 24 and then 27 players. There's a lot of players, basically. So yeah, I'll stick with Josh Papa at 67-1, Bet365 first try scorer. Probably won't bother to be an anytime try scorer because I don't love any. But yeah, guys, this is where I guess the try scorer tips and stuff finish up pretty much for now. If you saw last week, guys, in this live video that I was doing, I tipped up. Oh, did I tip? No, I didn't tip it, but I said I was so keen to watch Xavier Willison play in the All-Stars game. I was really excited. tipped it on our Discord. Bang, he scored the last try at 67-1. So again, I've been punting personally on try scores in NRL for over 10 years. Wicky's my full-time business. We put on a show. We've got podcast, article, Discord, a whole bunch of other shit. It's all free. Please Google Wiki Linktree. Check it out. If you're more of a general rugby league fan, I am going to very quickly go through the teams for this weekend, because if you're a footy fan, you want to know what your favorite team has done in terms of who's playing, who's not, who got what spot, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go through that really quickly now. Plan after that is to go through Fantasy and SuperCoach. So if you don't give two shits about Fantasy and SuperCoach, after I do the team stuff, you're probably going to want to drop off. And that's it. So, all right. First things first, guys, the Rabbitohs Roosters game. I'm not going to talk about that because a whole bunch of reserve graders that we don't know too much about. The Sharks Bulldogs game, 8 p.m. Friday. Very quickly, Nicho Hynes is out of that game. So obviously he'll be back in a couple of weeks for round one. Aside from that, both teams are pretty much full strength. I think the Sharks team, there's not too much to talk about because we kind of know who their players are, who's chosen, all that kind of stuff. But with the Doggies, they've got a whole bunch of changes. So I think it's worth spending like a minute or so quickly talking about that. Left center, it looks, I don't want to say left center. One of the center spots, it looks like Bronson Xerri has won that spot. He's been named for the second week in a row in a full strength Dogs team, it looks like. Blake Wilson looks like he's named one of the wing spots. Critter, Stephen Crichton, fresh move to the Bulldogs. He's been named as the club captain. Huge move. Matt Burton seems to have won a spot in the halves over Toby Sexton. And in terms of the forwards, I don't know if this is how they're going to go in for round one, but the way they've got it right now is King, Marnie, Farmasuli, Kickout left, Preston right, Salmon lock, Man, Sam Hughes, Curran, Morin. So that's how they've gone this time. I think most people feel like surely Josh Curran fucking starts at lock for round one and Salmon goes back to the bench, but it's a fucking team full of utilities. We have no idea what the hell the Dogs are doing, but they're going to be a lot more fun to watch this year than last year, I reckon. And yeah, as I said, with the Sharks, not too much to talk about. They've just gone full strength. Nicho Hynes is out, but he'll be back round one. All right, Storm Knights, guys. Again, Storm, not too much to talk about. Jonah Pezzitin, because Cam Munster's missing. The one interesting thing from a fantasy and SuperCoach point of view and just generally, Kane Bradley, I think he used to play like wing or in the backs for the Cowboys. He has somehow won the left second row position over Sean Blaw. So again, if you're playing fantasy and SuperCoach, that'll be an interesting one to look out for. If he plays well this week, I can see Joe Chan's on the bench. The other one was Jack Howarth. Like that left second row spot might not be locked in for Sean Blaw. And if you go off team, it might be just Craig Bellamy giving guys a go to kind of like fight it out for that spot. But yeah, if you're going to pick Sean Blaw in your fantasy, SuperCoach draft, whatever, his spot is not as cemented as you would have thought. With the Knights, guys, Kalen Pong is playing. They are full fucking strength. Only person they don't have is Jaden Brayley. Unfortunately, he's come back from injury. I think he's done a hammy or a hammy twinge. So he's out for a little bit. KP's Paul. He was fucking electric apparently last week. He gets that 17th spot on the bench. There's a bunch of other guys like Jed Cartwright. Actually, that's probably it. A couple of guys in contention, but that 17 for the Knights, if you're watching on screen, guys, looks pretty much close to full strength. So I guess like not too much to talk about here. Next up, guys, Warriors Dolphins. Couple of things. CNK, Nakul Klokstad, he's out. So Tuapiki is in at fullback. They've got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. If you remember him, guys, he's back in the NRL. He'll be left center. They're still not going to give him a crack at fullback. I think they're just going to ease him in, and he might get some time at fullback later in the season. Aside from that, Kurt Capewell comes to them from the Broncos. I think everyone, if you are a Warriors fan, up the wires, I'll back you in this season because I think this is it. You got Sean Johnson surely on his last legs. Like, there's no way in hell he's going to be able to maintain this standard next season. The other thing is for Noah Blake, he's gone off to the Sharks. And the other one is that they've just got Kurt Capewell. So in terms of this squad, like this is it. And their depth is incredible. They've got Dylan Walker, Tamara Martin, Adam Pompey, Harris Tavita, a bunch of guys that were sort of always in and around their team that are no longer good enough to make the 17, which is pretty insane for depth. So yeah, really hope the Warriors go well this year. In terms of depth, another team that's done really well in terms of depth signings is the Dolphins. Last year, they started off with a bang. I think they won their first 3 and they looked like, holy shit, these guys could make the 8. got a couple of injuries and suspensions, and they fell off. But now they've got Herbie Farnworth, they've got Tom Flegler, and they've got a couple of others. They've got Jake Averillo, and I feel like I'm missing someone else who's pretty important. But yeah, anyways, the Dolphins are a lot more depth this year. They should go really well. This should actually be a really fun game to watch. Both teams pretty much full strength, 3:45. What is that in New Zealand? A couple hours ahead. Oh, it's an evening game, but still, that should be a cracking game, guys. Next up, Seagulls Broncos. I won't talk about this game because it's a bunch of reserve graders that I don't know too much about. Should be really fun to watch. As I said, in terms of try scorer plays, if you are having a look, Toa Sipley. Very quickly, I did not tip this because I was trying not to tip too many players in preseason, but Sipley just looked fucking hungry for the try line. He looked really good last year. Tipped him a few times. I don't think we tipped him successfully, but he scored 1 or 2 tries last year. Last week in the trial, he looked hungry as fuck. He scored a try, scored the first try, 126-1. A couple of guys on the community got on him. Great pick. He just looks so fucking hungry this year. But he did something dumb. I forgot what it was now. It was high tackle or something. So he's suspended for the first 3 or 4 weeks, I think it is, unfortunately, which means he's not going to Vegas. So he'll be in this trial. He'll be playing up against that sort of second, it's reserves Manly v reserves Broncos pretty much. But if we can find a decent price about Toa Sipley, he's fucking hungry. He scored the first try last week. I'm going to try to tip him up closer to the game. On the other side, I mentioned it before, but that whole pack, actually, Butler, who scored a try, roughly 1 in 3 reserve grade games. Blake Moser, he's meant to be like the next big thing in terms of Queensland hookers. And then Ben Takura, who's meant to be like 6'9", beast of a guy. Any of those guys with good prices, if you find them on the odds comparison tool, I'd be getting on that. That should be a really good watch. But again, won't talk too much about it just because I don't know the guys. Dragons, Tigers, again, relatively boring in terms of like an actual rugby league game. But if you're playing for Fantasy and SuperCoach, you're definitely going to want to have a look at this in terms of who's getting what spot. So firstly, Carl Flanagan, cheapest chips, especially in NRL Fantasy, I think is a pretty good buy just in terms of fucking base stats like tackles, like basic run meters, kick meters, whatever. He's so cheap that he's worth picking up just for that, I reckon. In terms of the backs, again, Terrell Sloan's won the fullback spot. I feel like Jack Bird will probably play right center with Ravalawa outside him, and Sully plays left center with Lomax outside of him. It'll be interesting to see the dynamic over there. Tom Eisenhuth seems to have won that left second row, or I won't say left and right actually, but one of the second row spots that's available. RFM for Talamarina, he's moved over from the Dogs to the Dragons. If you saw that on Insta, it was he was the last player that was left from the Dogs squad 2 years ago. They've cleaned out all 30 fucking players. I know if you're a Dogs fan, you're probably happy with the types of players that you had. But that Dragons team, there's a couple of guys I just mentioned that are doing like in different positions. It'll be interesting to watch out for. The Tigers, we've got Justin Olam at left center. There is Bud Sullivan, and Aiden Caesar in the halves. It should be interesting to watch. Api Coruscant, obviously, at hooker. They've got Kepaoa at second row. Don't get too excited for Fantasy and SuperCoach. He's only there because Johnny Bateman is not back in the team at the moment. Seyfarth, he scored the first try last week. Utu Kamanu, which I tipped at like 67-1 or whatever, was right fucking there. He went for the decoy. I think Appy went behind. Seyfarth scores fucking first, so we obviously don't win on that. But again, middle forward scores at big odds. So look out for Seyfarth. I reckon he could potentially lock in that starting middle role. But you got Twal, Bolle, and Sam Fainu on the bench. 3 big middles on the bench over there for Tigers. No one wants to really hear much about the Dragons and Tigers, so I'm going to skip ahead. First Sunday game, 3 p.m. Sydney time. That Raiders team is just fucking weird. Like, I don't think there's any point talking too much about it. We have no idea what Ricky Stewart is going to do for round 1. But if you're playing Fantasy and SuperCoach, you're probably going to want a couple of the cheapies from here. So the two that I won't even talk about the back line because we just don't know what the fuck's going to happen because Jamal Fogarty's their halfback. He's not named. Aside from that, the 7 players, there's no point wasting time on this. Like, I just have no idea what's going to happen. So I'm not going to say anything. Fogarty's going to be their halfback. Rapana's apparently won their fullback spot. And Timoko is a fucking gun center. So those are 3 things we know for round 1, but that's pretty much it. In terms of the rest of it, guys, Morgan Smithies. So he is a middle forward or a lock from England that's come over. I'm going to pick him in NRL Fantasy and probably SuperCoach as well. He's got 3 or 4 rounds without Corey Horsburgh. And I think that's enough time if they give him a crack and give him sort of decent minutes for him to get used to the NRL, get some bigger minute games early, and hopefully make some cash first nice and early. So from that, going to the Cowboys real quick, probably not too much to talk about. Zach Labert seems to have won that center spot. I think it was Peter Hiku that used to play there. Seems to have won that spot. They've gotten rid of Luciano Leilua. He's gone off to the Dogs. Sorry, not the Dogs, the Dragons, where he used to play for before. Heelan Lukey seems to have gotten that spot, so he should be the left edge back rower next to Tommy Dearden. I reckon I fucking love Lukey, so that's going to be really fun to watch. Aside from that, Griffin Neame, you guys know I absolutely love him as a try scorer. Killed me that he scored the first try in the second half. I think in like an end of season game last year for the Kiwis. I think he wasn't a good price or whatever, so I didn't tip it, didn't bet on it. But I love Griffin Neame, really good try scorer stats. One player that is not in the 17 for the Cowboys is Kulikefu Fini-Fuyaki. You guys know I'm all about try scorers, especially forwards, and trying to pick out the right ones. First time I fucking saw that guy run, I was like, holy shit, this man's a beast. So I hope he's in the 17. They've got Sam McIntyre in the 17 for the trial, like this weekend, in front of Fini-Fuyaki. But if Fini-Fuyaki is in there, he'll be in my fantasy and SuperCoach team, as you're about to see. Moving on, guys. Last game, very quickly. Titans, Eels, Jaden Campbell, again, fantasy and SuperCoach, big deal, is pretty popular. He's out, remember, for the first month or so, roughly, according to NRL Physio. So Keanu Kini, who's super cheap in NRL Fantasy, he's in my team at the moment. We hope, I think they've got the bye week too, but we hope that Kini gets around 3 games and ideally 4, maybe gets a bench spot for a couple of weeks and keeps making cash. That's the hope. I've got him in my team. Remember Alexander Brimson, AJ Brimson is playing in the centers now. Remember that. 4 on his left side. We hope that Beau Fermor gets that left side second row gig. I know he's pretty popular in fantasy and SuperCoach. And Big Tino starting at lock. He's going to be fun to watch. In a game like this, running at RCG, Bolo, and Hopgood, this is going to be a really good clash of 2 pretty good paths, to be honest. Aside from that, very quick look at the Eels to see if there's anything of note, but they're pretty much the same side as last year. One of the guys, when they had a couple of injuries, I think I loved Rumu Greg as a try scorer. I forgot if we actually won on him, but he did score at least 1 or 2 tries after I picked him up as a good try scorer. So him and probably Tommy Hazelton for the Sharks, they were a couple of the guys that I was pretty proud about, like sort of picking them up nice and early, tipping them. I think we might have won on them once when we tipped it and they scored. Because remember, like what I try to do is if the prices aren't good, I don't always tip them. So if I love one of these middle forwards, like I think, Wiramu Greg, first try scorer, second half, holy shit, what a good play. But if he's priced dog shit, if he's 41-1, I'm not just going to tip it for, the tip's sake kind of thing. So anyways, that's it, guys. I've gone through try scorer tips. I've gone through NRL teams. If you are a fantasy and SuperCoach nut, I'm going to run through fantasy and SuperCoach real quick, hoping for like 10 minutes or so. And then I'm going to can it there. So again, if you were here for your tips and your NRL sort of general teams and who's in what team, what's going on, all that kind of stuff, I've covered through most of that. Please Google Wicky Linktree, like and subscribe, all that kind of shit. All our stuff is free. Join our Discord, check out our data tools, check out our content. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this live content, etc. So, and if there's anything that I haven't done that you'd like to see, please let me know. I'll go through the comments real quick in case I've missed anything. Nope, seems to be working fine. All right, sweet. So, guys, if you're sticking around, I'm going to go through NRL Fantasy and SuperCoach. If you're not into Fantasy and SuperCoach, you might be playing Draft or whatever. It'll still be NRL stuff. So if you are keen to stick around, that'd be awesome, and I'll run you through the rest of it. Look, what I thought I'd do is I'd very quickly talk through my own team for Fantasy and SuperCoach. So I guess if you've known me for a little while on our Discord community or whatever, I, growing up, was a Swans fan. I love the AFL, and I still think AFL is an awesome sport, but I end up watching every single rugby league game, so I just don't have time for it. And the way I got into rugby league was this, NRL Fantasy and try scorer punting. I absolutely fucking loved it. And now, like, Wicky is my full-time business. We focus on Fantasy SuperCoach, but obviously mainly punting. And it's been awesome to try to obviously make a business out of my main passion. Anyways, enough of that soft shit. Let's get into it, guys. So my team for NRL Fantasy, if you can't see my screen, I'm going to say it out loud first. Starting team for NRL Fantasy, I've got 2K remaining in my salary cap out of my 10 million, so I've used almost every fucking dollar. Joey Lussick at hooker. Obviously, that's interchangeable with Brendan Hands. Whichever one of these guys wins the starting hooker spot, I'm going to go with them. Cotter, Josh Curran, assuming Curran starts at lock. Nathan Brown. Love Nathan Brown with Sipley suspended for a few weeks. And I think Matty Lodge injured for a few weeks. So Nathan Brown is 384K. That's like roughly 26, 27 points. I think as an expectation or a break even or whatever. And I really do think he can easily crack sort of 35 for a few weeks. And obviously if he gets more minutes, he can get 40 plus as well. He used to be a bit of a gun in the middle. So love Nathan Brown there. So again, maybe I'll just run through my players first and then quickly talk about him. So Joey Lussick at hooker, Cotter, Current, Nathan Brown, Morgan Smithies, the English lock, I think he is, Sean Lane, Cleary and Hines, with Hines captain as my halves. A lot of money in there. Ben Trebojevic and Jesse Arthurs in the centers. I've tried to go as cheap as possible. Greg Marju, Kalen Ponga, and Jacob Carraz. I'm only going to have Carraz if he's named on the wing in round 1. Maximum tackle breaking potential and ability. I'm going for high upside. That's it. On the bench, guys, I've got Brendan Piakura, my man Xavier Willison, Carl Flanagan, Keon Keeney, Danny Levi, if he's the starting hooker for the Raiders, even if he plays only like 30, 40 minutes, he's priced at 286K. If you can kind of creep up towards that 30 average, that's enough, sort of 100, 150K. My sort of profits in the first few weeks. Sammy Hughes, I've got Fini Fuyaki in there, assuming he'll be in the 17, and obviously if he's not, I'll piss him off for someone else. And I've got James Schiller. He's at 250K. So the reason why I've gone him and I haven't gone a lot of the other rookies for the Raiders is I reckon he's above them in the pecking order, whoever the fuck is around him. But he's still 250K. He's still cheap as chips, and he's center, winger, fullback, dual position. So that's what I've done so far. Obviously, everyone knows Team List Tuesday. So next Tuesday, so today's Thursday, 22nd of February, right? Next Tuesday, teams come out for the Vegas games, those 2 games. So we'll know who's 1 to 17 there. The Tuesday after, teams come in for every other NRL team, round 1 teams, right? So obviously a lot of these players, I might have to swap them out if they're not even fucking named. But basically what I'm trying to do with my NRL fantasy team is load up on Hines and Cleary, play it safe, big upside with those guys, take risks in my winger fullbacks. Ponga, that's not a risk, but Marju and Carraz, hopefully 2 tackle busting wingers, and I'm happy to sort of go hard on that. And with a bunch of my forwards, just go for guys that are value, that aren't necessarily guns. I don't have Harry Grant, I don't have Payne Haas, and I don't give a shit. I'm happy to stay without him because realistically, you only need 1 or probably 2 top tier players. Like, I think everyone goes for safety early in the season. I'm all about value. If you know anything about my punting and stuff, I'm all about value, and I'm happy to take the risk, right? So I've gone really, really high tier with Cleary and Hines. And aside from that, it's probably only Ponga. I'm just looking again at my team. He's the only guy that I've got above 750K. Everyone else is sort of like Ponga and Marju, both around 750K. Everyone else is just value. And I'm hoping to sort of creep up. And I'll have Hines or Cleary as my captain pretty much every week. So look, what I might do, I might just quickly go through my SuperCoach team. I'll see how much interest there is, and I might just spend like 5 minutes talking about ownership and a little bit more detailed stuff about fantasy and SuperCoach. So very quickly, guys, with what am I doing? With SuperCoach, I've gone Hands, again, whichever Eels hooker, Hands and Levi, got cheap at hooker for SuperCoach, Cotter, Willison, Moale, and Sam Hughes. That second front row forward spot, I'm happy to give to whichever rookie I think will get the most minutes /impact. It actually won't be Willison, so I assume early in the season it'll probably be Sammy Hughes. In back row, I've got Lane, Piakura, Curran, Crichton, Smithies, and Fini Fuyaki. Obviously, if Crichton doesn't start, I'll piss him off for whichever rooster does start in the back row. And obviously, if Fini Fuyaki is not in the 17, I'll piss him off for a cheapie. Hines and Dylan Brown, I've got as my starting halves, and Trindle and Flanagan on the bench. I'm happy to piss Trindle off for a rookie, but not one of these Raiders rookies that might potentially not even be in the team in round 2, 3, or 4. So I'm going to have a bit of a think about this. My ideal scenario is I bring Trindle down to any cheap half that is actually playing that I think will have the spot for 4 or 5 weeks. If not, happy to hold Trindle. I think there's a lot of upside with Trindle. I understand that I saw some stats someone put out, I think it was SuperCoach Guns or someone in the SuperCoach space around Trindle with and without Hines. But I think that this is his first season, you got to remember, as the starting half in round one. It was always Moylan's spot, and Trindle was coming in and out of the team for Moylan when he was injured or for Hines when he was out for Origin or suspended or whatever the problem was, right? So I'm happy to sort of go with Trindle unless I see a super cheap option. In the backs, guys, I've got Marju, Holmes, Khan Pereira from the Titans, and Benny Trebojevic. So clearly you can see here I'm trying to take risks, right? So with Khan Pereira, my thinking was the Titans are an improved outfit, take a risk on them early. But now I realize that fucking David Fafita's out, and so is Jaden Campbell. Yeah, so Khan Pereira scores a lot of tries on the Titans left because Kieran Foran's there, so they get a lot of good ball there. But if David Fafita's not there, that reduces a lot of like the opposition's right edge. They're not going to be as scared with David Fafita not there. So I might not take that risk on Khan Pereira. I was really excited to. I might have to piss him off for whoever else, maybe like a Jacob Kiraj, just like I have in NRL Fantasy if he's named on the wing. Or I might go a little bit more conservative, go like a cheaper option and try to upgrade somewhere in my forward pack. So I'll have to play that by ear. I'll probably wait around for team list. The thing that I'm really excited about though is Kalen Ponga. I think he's pretty, like, I know he's quite popular in SuperCoach. That second pick though is quite interesting. So what I've done with my second pick at fullback, you want to go a gun because fullback is like a prime spot where you got like high ceiling players. What I did was instead of looking at which player I want and averages and all that kind of bullshit, which is the normal thing to do, what I've tried to do is look at the first sort of 5 to 10 games of opposition. So I know people generally say, oh, you don't want to pick just off opposition, you know, a good player should be able to score against whoever. That's not fucking true though. You look at like a Tom Trebojevic, you look at like when he comes against the best teams or in finals, he does get suffocated quite often. So I wanted to go with Tom Trebojevic. And then I thought about the fact this dude's going to Vegas with narrower field and all the rest of it. Plus he's got all of his injury issues and stuff. Then he's got to come back to Australia and then get into a bit of a rhythm, and Manly start with a lot of tough teams early on. That kind of like that made me want to go against Tommy Trebojevic. And then I went through, I think it was Tedesco was the only player that had, I think, a decent run. But anyways, a lot of the gun fullbacks that you would have considered have pretty tough runs and going to Vegas, all the rest of it. Scotty Drinkwater plays in North Queensland early in the season, hot, humid weather. You'd expect a lot of tries late in the game. The Cowboys, I'm hoping, bounce back this year because I've got him and Val in my team. I just think it's like the perfect pick of definite upside. He's involved as hell. He plays for the Cowboys, obviously going to play in conditions where you'd think it'd be higher scoring. And his draw is noticeably better. Like his opposition that he's coming up against in the first few weeks, noticeably easier than a lot of like the Turbo, Tedesco, Latrell, all that kind of like the guns that you would think of. I feel like he's got an easier draw as well. So that's my my main thought process, guys. I think this has gone for about 45 minutes. I was thinking I was going to waffle on for an hour or hour and a half. Let me have a very quick look through what people have said. If there's anything I've missed, load the videos off. Oh, fuck. Well, I think I fixed that later. Let me see if anyone said anything on YouTube. Nope, seems like they haven't. So I don't think there's anything else really to talk too much about, guys. So just to finish off, one thing, I'll just quickly sum everything up. Maybe I won't go into like advanced fucking fantasy and SuperCoach chat because I just don't know if there's enough people on here that are probably interested about that. So I'll very quickly summarize all the stuff that I've done. Firstly, Google Wiki Linktree, give us a follow, a like, or whatever. It helps me kind of understand if you guys are keen for more of this content. The stuff that I've rattled through, and I'm going to clip this up and put this out on socials as well. But remember, our odds comparison tool, you got first and anytime try scorer markets for all 8 games for the trials this weekend. On this live video, I've rattled off a few tips. So we'll put it up on YouTube or whatever, or Spotify. You can check that out. You can play around with the numbers yourself. Odds comparison tool that you see on your screen. Google Wiki Linktree, it's right there. After that, guys, I went through the teams. So just remember, one, for whoever's still listening, please fucking pay attention to this. The teams that are playing this weekend, yes, you can punt on it, and there are try score markets and multis and fucking everything. But every team pretty much has a 25-man squad or more. So you might have some fucking center multi with a fucking winger, and you might be really G'd about your multi, but they probably won't fucking play the second half or something like that. So just be careful of punting this weekend. I get that you're excited about rugby league and you want to have a punt. Obviously, gamble responsibly. But if you are going to have a punt, just fucking beware that your players may not be playing the whole games. It is still fucking preseason. Yep. That's it. Last time I'm going to say that. Unlimited changes, 25-man squads. Fucking be careful with anytime try scorers and multis and shit. Bang. Stop. Done. So I went through all the teams, talked about who's playing, who's not. Of the 8 games, 6 of the 8 games are pretty much full-strength NRL teams. The 4 teams who are going to Vegas, they play each other. They will be playing each other in Vegas, obviously, but these trial teams, obviously, all their first-grade players are, I think, in Vegas or about to head to Vegas. Obviously, they're not going to play this game. That's probably the main thing. To rattle off some fantasy and SuperCoach stuff real quick, I talked through my teams for fantasy and SuperCoach, talked through some of the risks that I'm sort of looking to take. And I don't know, like as I said, guys, I don't want to talk too much about fantasy and SuperCoach because I'll definitely do a proper in-detail pod for that next week. I want to do a lot more fantasy and SuperCoach stuff, but our audience is kind of more rugby league and punting. So if you do love your fantasy and SuperCoach, you've got to let us know. Just, fucking comment, let us know, whatever. I will be doing a lot more of that. I just don't want to do it now when we don't even know the teams for the season, right? But aside from that, guys, there you go. What you see on your screen here, our Wicky link tree, it's got links to all our socials, all our tools, all our content, etc., etc. One last thing I'll leave you with, just very, very quickly to be self-indulgent. As I said, Wicky's my full-time gig. It's coming up to our 4-year anniversary next month. It's been a long, hard slog with this startup, but it's been fucking great fun. There's actually a few things that I don't want to reveal just yet, but tomorrow around this time, I think it's just after 5 p.m. Sydney time, we're going to have an announcement pod. There's going to be a pretty cool announcement. It'll come from me, and I'll tell you about this tomorrow. So you'll see something kind of cool from us coming out tomorrow. Aside from that, we'll have a couple more announcements about some collaboration and all that kind of stuff by next week. Remember, next Tuesday, teams drop for Vegas. First NRL games, 2 of them in Vegas, not this Sunday, but the one after that. There's an event. If you live in Sydney, guys, I'd love to hang out with you and grab a beer with you at the Star. They've got like some SuperCoach event or whatever. Basically, big fucking screen at the Star. Obviously, we're going to grab a few beers, enjoy the footy. There's 2 fucking cracking games on round 1. I'd love to see you at the Star. It'd be good to hang out with you guys. And one last thing I forgot to fucking plug. As usual, I forget to plug the one thing that's fucking paid on our website. So as I said, guys, my number one thing with what I'm trying to do here, fantasy, punting, whatever it is all free. I want you guys to check it all out. We've got Wicky Premium. So if you know our stuff, if you've used our stuff for punting and you punt quite a bit, you spend a lot of time and money on punting. If you don't, 99% of you, this is not relevant because we only need about 60 people signed up to this out of the 3,000 plus on our Discord. We get a couple of thousand people on our site every weekend, right? So we only need about 50, 60 people signing up to this. But if you are interested, you know what we do. Wicky Premium, again, it's on our link tree, but we've almost sold out. So I think we're about 2/3 or just above that sold out for gold. And once gold sold out, obviously silver is going to be quite popular. Simple way to say it, guys. If you know our stuff, basically this gets you early and exclusive access to my tips for try scorers and the full odds comparison tool. So all markets, all bookies. If you want that, or if you want that week to week, when the NRL season starts, that's when we go paid for some of this stuff. But don't freak out. Our punters preview article, our podcast, our basic odds comparison tool with first and anytime try scorers, that's always been free and it still will be free, just like it was in the last season. So as I said, there's more than 3,000 people in our community. We only have about 50 people or 60 people paying for premium. Everyone else gets everything else for free. It's just that the guys that pay get it earlier, get it exclusively, because we are doing something that's quite profitable. But again, for most of you guys, rugby league is just a fun thing for you guys. You don't need to worry about it. You'll still get all our tips. You'll still get all the content, podcasts, everything. So thanks, guys. I've gone just under an hour. I thought I'd fucking waffle on for way longer than this. So one last time, please Google Wicky Linktree, follow us, like our stuff. Let us know what you want to see more of from us, because I think one thing that people don't know is we actually have a team of people helping me out put all this shit together. So we've got, we've got 2 full-time tech guys, 4 sort of part-time tech guys that help out, and we've got 3 full-time marketing guys. So Our team has kind of gone from like bare bones last year, and I was fucking going crazy trying to put everything together last year. Now we've got a team helping me edit, help me clip stuff up, helping put all this tech stuff together. So whether you're just here for fun and you just want to talk shit on our Discord, please come along. But if you're in here for tips and fantasy and SuperCoach, I'm keen to do a lot more of this stuff. So please let us know what you like, and I'm fucking here. I'm here to deliver. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening if you're in Sydney. And we'll catch the rugby league tomorrow. I'll be trying to tip an hour before each game for the preseason. The stuff that I do for premium, usually preseason, everything's free. So an hour before each game, I'll tag everyone on the Discord. If some dude's on the bench and he's starting now, he's crazy odds, I'll be tipping that. So yeah, jump onto our Discord. It's all free. This community's gone from 300 to just over 3,000 last year. It's ticked over 3,400 now. The community and the people in it sort of make me realize that this is not only a fun business to run, but when other people are joining in, it obviously makes you feel a lot better about the stuff that you're doing. So we'll catch you on the Discord. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a comment to let me know if I fucked anything up, or if you want me to do something differently next time. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the footy this weekend. I'll catch you on the Discord. This is the hardest bit, knowing how to start and finish stuff. All right.
Recording stopped.